I'm Chris Guarino, and welcome to my masterclass! Oh, this is the wrong video. And welcome to my Austin studio tour! I can't work in these clothes. You guys are gonna have to give me a minute. Alright, that's better. Oh God, is that what my hair looks like? I really wanted to get it cut before doing this. Anyway, alright, come in. So in this video I want to go over a few things. My studio situation, go over some upcoming projects that I have, things that I'm working on, and then at the end give you a kind of virtual gallery experience that I've set up outside. I've worked in a lot of different studio environments. I've worked in lofts over garages, I've worked in basements, I've worked in my dining room, and that was really uncomfortable in a one-bedroom apartment to be working in the dining room right between the bedroom and the kitchen. The work I do is not clean. The things I do go everywhere. It was not a sustainable living environment. So I ended up looking for studio space, and I had a hard time finding one I could afford. Some studios, for art studios, it's ridiculous. They're like more than my apartment cost. I just couldn't justify the expense, and then on Craigslist I got really lucky and ended up renting a studio at Thornton Road, which I'll probably show some footage of here of my Thornton Road studio. Really nice place. I liked being there, and then I bought a house and could not justify the studio expense when I had plenty of room to work in my house. So I moved back into my house, and now I'm in this similar situation with the dining room thing where it's dust and clay everywhere, and I've basically pushed myself out into the shed, which is where I am right now, and it sucks, and it is all I have. But it's not bad. In the summers it's terrible, and in the winters it's cold. And I'm also working on just building an actual standalone studio on the property, so don't feel bad for me. Just don't feel bad for me, ever. See how clean and precise everything is. Everything in its place, nothing out of place. You see I've got some gloves. I like to reuse gloves until they're just falling off my skin. Paper towels, yeah, I'll use them until it's just a wad of like paint encrusted paper towel, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. All my tools, I keep them well organized. Everything's in its place, so I know where it is. Nothing's ever out of place. Nothing's ever a wasp. You know, if there's a wasp there, it's got to be there for a reason. Wouldn't think that there would be insects in a studio without a reason. So those guys, they're there. Cleanliness next to godliness. Should I change locations if I'm talking about projects that I've got coming up? Or should I just be like, projects I've got coming up? So I'm working on a children's book. I'm working on a novel. I'm also just constantly working on my Little Imperfections series. So those are the three things that I really want to talk about right now. The children's book is called The Boy Who Lived in a Tiny Wooden Box. And it's about this boy who lives in a tiny wooden box. Actually, I've got some of the puppets right here. I should actually show those because I'm going to show some of the pages from the book. I think it would be helpful to see the puppets that I use while I'm shooting those. Because what I'm doing is I built these puppets, sculpted these little puppets, and then I put them in different positions, take their pictures, and then it was going to be a stop motion animation, and then it turned into I'm just going to make a children's book. Whether that's because I'm lazy, I lack initiative, I'm not a go-getter, I lack the intelligence to put an animation together, I can't make a compelling video about myself or my artwork. I'll leave it up to you, where you just pick one of those. So that's basically what it is. It's about this little boy named Trevor and the things that he does in his day-to-day world and how he strives to break free from the monotony that is his life. And I'm just now realizing it's autobiographical. Second thing I want to talk about is my novel. It is based on the artwork that I do. Mainly the Masquerade series is what spawned it. I made masks first, then I made images from models wearing those masks. And they all created these different creatures, these different personalities, very dark fantasy, sci-fi type stuff, and took it to the Spectrum convention in Kansas City. And one of my fellow artists came up and he said, so is there like a story that goes behind all these characters? And he really got me thinking about it, that yeah, there is. What I was basically doing is creating concept art for this world, this novel that I started writing very soon after that convention. And I've been working on it for a long time. And not only does it encompass the Masquerade images, but also the Little Imperfections series and the Creepicorn sculptures that I did a long time ago, and even some of the wall sculptures and weird, odd little things that I did. This book kind of like takes every art piece that I made and builds a world with it. I'm doing a lot of writing. The writing studio that I have is really nice. It's got a nice leather top desk. All my books are there. I actually write in a journal. I'm writing it out longhand because I think there's a certain romanticism. It's more tactile and I feel like it's more real and like the experience of actually writing. And then when I go back and I type it all out, then I'll be revising it, and this has gotten boring. Started off fun and now it's boring. Now I'm boring myself. Let's move on to the Little Imperfections. This is number 5. Number 5, I recently got back from the woman who owned him. When I was living in Denver, I had a silent auction. I was about to move to Chicago and I had all these sculptures and I didn't want to risk having them break on the way to Chicago, so I had a silent auction. This guy was raffled off for 20 bucks. And, she contacted me recently and she's moving and she's downsizing, and she said, do you know anybody who would want number 5? And I was like, I want number 5 back. You send him back to me. And so she shipped him back to me, and I got a new base for him, and I'm going to put him together later on in this video. Actually, probably immediately after what I'm saying right now. Look at how much tape is this. They just wrap the whole thing in tape. It's a bit overkill. It's almost like you cause more damage trying to unwrap the thing than you do shipping it. He's actually in perfect shape. Now we're going to put him on his base. I took the afternoon and set up a gallery in the maze section of my backyard. I'm building a sculpture garden that's going to be permanent, and I'm going to have a walled maze with the vines growing all over it back there. In the very early stages of it now, it's kind of a bit of a shambles, but eventually it'll be something cool. And in the meantime, it provided a great place for me to set up a little temporary art gallery with all the work that I have on hand. Make a little virtual tour so that people can experience my work even though they can't actually come to my house or can't actually come to my studio. It's a good way to kind of show what I have.
think after everything, this Austin studio tour was kind of cool. It's really weird, the fact that I set all this stuff up temporarily for one night and nobody really saw it, but maybe through the magic of the internet, you guys can enjoy it too. Thanks for watching.